So I wanted to do a recording with the voiceover for Mutant Node 1 and 2 for Doom 2.3 just to help explain my line of thought. Um, Generally, they're all one-shots with the exception of Node 2. Sometimes I get down to like one or two hits left on a long shot. But to start with Node 1, we'll start actually with our team comp. As you can see, mine are pretty high. They're all T15, they're all 85. Um, I do not have maxed out um, T4s, but I believe I'm missing Bishop's, I'm sorry, Beast's Basic and Kitty's Alt, but everything else is done. The other thing you're going to notice is the ISO setup is probably outside of what traditionally everybody goes with, which is fine. One thing that you in this game is they did ISO so well, at least in my opinion, that you can have multiple setups that are good, that actually work. Keep in mind that I always hear people say you have to have Jubilee as a skirmisher, but the only reason for that is because the blinds. You don't want to miss the blinds. Well, I have a 6 red star Jubilee, which will have a factor in there. And on top of that, I have enough marks on the board that she will double tap with her blind, I've never had an issue with it. There's never been a point where I said, "Well, I wish I had skirmisher." The other thing you're going to notice is that Iceman is Raider. He's not a skirmisher. Again, I don't have trouble landing his stun, and I find that I get more marks because of his basic and his ult. His basic generally is hitting 3 or more characters, and that's a higher percentage to put more marks out than a single one. So I think it's preference based. You don't have to do this. The most common thing to do is Bishop as a striker, everybody else as skirmisher. Both work. Um, However, in 2.3, we find that damage is the problem. You don't have enough damage to get through the node, no matter how big yours are. I would say mine are on the bigger end, but not as big as some other players. So, um, in addition to this, in your first node, you want to manage your cooldowns. It's very important you do not go into the second node without Beast's ult, and it would be preferred if you had, you definitely want to have Iceman's ult and Kitty's ult special up. And the reason for that is you want to mitigate the first turn on node 2, and the only way to really do that reliably is to have those cooldowns up. But you'll find that it's very easy to get through node 1 with having everybody's cooldowns up. On we'll get this started, and then I'll talk a little bit about what we're going to see and what you want to keep in mind as you're hitting the node. Um, First thing is you want to hit a Greg every single turn if you can, or somebody needs to die every single turn. If you don't do this, you won't keep a head and turn meter, and then the node will get out of control. Um, you also don't want to kill too many in the first node without having at least Silver Surfer off the board. But you can very easily do all of this maintaining higher turn meter than the second wave drop and get the first wave off the board, so that the only thing dropping on the second wave is Red Guardian, Bishop, and Silver Surfer. It can be very difficult to flip Silver Surfer's defense up. And the reason for that is got a high resistance. No matter if you got Skirmisher, it really doesn't matter. It can become a problem. So there's a trick to this node to get defense down on him, so that you can kill him faster and easier. Usually he's the roadblock. He's the one that takes the longest to get through, but it's not a problem if you do what I'll show you. And the other thing, most people know this, but just want to state it, never want to ult with Bishop unless he's got his charge. And even better, you always want to do it when he's got his offense up. So it's generally better to special and then ult with him, unless he gets buffed. And he just has to have charge. Charge is his mechanic. Um, and we'll get going on this. We'll show you kind of how it's played. So when you open, there's the Greg was next to Silver Surfer. So I special here, even though it's not going to heal anybody, because it kills him. You won't need the heal right now. Um, that's going to cause bishop to go next. Now, one of the things I failed to talk about was positioning. My kitty is 6 red stars, so she can survive the ult here. This is the only turn that bishop will get here is his ult. She's 6 red stars, and she's pretty much maxed out. So what I often advise people to do is move Iceman next to bishop. What that'll cause is it'll cause Iceman to die. He'll come back, so you don't have to worry about him. Just easier to handle. The other thing here is the opening sequence. So we specialed with Beast because he was next. Greg was next to Surfer. I would basic if he was next to Bishop. Next turn is either going to be Iceman or it's going to be Kitty. If Iceman goes first, you can ult with Iceman into everybody, and that's going to reduce damage from everybody, but it's also going to slow everyone down, and it won't cause Bishop to go next. So first turn, we're going to do Bishop into Greg. Even if Bishop is blinded because of the assist mechanic here between Bishop and Jubilee, it doesn't matter. You always special into Greg. It kills the Gregs and gives offense up, and we'll also get his ultimate ready. You ultimate here into Bishop because you can get the assist like that. It won't matter because blind isn't going to have an impact here. He's not going to get a turn. And then you're going to notice I basic into Greg. You can actually ult into Bishop here because he had the speed down, so he won't get a turn before our Bishop goes, but it's always safer, and I prefer to use the ult later on, and I'll show you why. You always stun Bishop. Bishop is the only problem here. It's not Squirrel Girl. Often in lower levels, you can actually stun Squirrel Girl and ignore Bishop because you can kill him before he does anything more. But you don't want to risk it here. And you don't have to worry about our cleanse. You're going to control the board and the turn meter enough that it won't be a problem. Always kill a Greg. No reason to ultimate there. And then no more Bishop. So while we didn't kill a Greg, we killed a Bishop and we killed Merc Lieutenant, so we're still ahead. That's what we want. Now, every time from this point forward, Greg's going to spawn next to something. Whatever Greg spawns next to, you want to use your AE ability to hit the primary target plus kill a Greg. In this case, we're going to have Iceman hit into Silver Surfer, but Kitty's actually going to follow up, and she could strip something. So you always want to be watching who is assisting to determine if that's going to be beneficial for you, especially with Beast and Kitty, because they can peel debuffs. Plus, obviously, with Jubilee, because she can apply a blind. And you'll notice I switched to Squirrel Girl here. We want to flip this defense up. Because it's so hard to get the defense up off of Silver Surfer, if we can flip this, and then we're going to special with Jubilee into her, we're going to spread that to everybody, and everybody's going to die a lot quicker. So that's one of the keys to actually this node, to getting through the first wave quickly. And you'll notice I didn't stay on Squirrel Girl because it spawned here, because I have a chance to remove a debuff a buff that offense or defense up, and to kill a Greg. Didn't get the blind there. Don't need to. That's not the point. We're going to special in here. We're going to spread everything. We got enough turn meter. Now I'm going to try to blind. And as you see, no problem. I'm focusing Silver Surfer down here because he has defense down. I have enough turn meter right now. I don't have to. That's another thing. You want to watch the turn meters. Right now, Silver Surfer's maxed, but no one else is. Because he's maxed and he's blind, I don't care if he ults. It's irrelevant. In fact, it's going to give Bishop a charge, which is better for me because it's going to clear the board quicker. So at this point, I ignore the Greg because I have the ability to kill Silver Surfer. I generally will keep killing Greg's until it's Jubilee's or Bishop's turn, and then focus him down if he has defense down, because they're the damage dealers, right? Striker on both, they're going to use up those marks. It's going to go a lot quicker. The benefit there is if I hit Hela, I can flip. We still need to get these buffs off of Phyla and Moondragon, but as you can see, this is going very well. Get the death proof off. Okay. And finish off Surfer. Now it's easy. Now we're just, all we're doing is prepping for node 2, or second wave. The reason I do this is because you looking at everybody's turn meter, there's no threat. No one's going to take a turn. So here I pause, and the reason I pause is because I'm looking whose turn it is. It's Iceman's, and Kitty's going to go next. The question is do I want to hit Bishop or do I want to hit Red Guardian? If I hit Bishop, he's going to get sped up. The most I can hope to do here is peel off his defense up, but I still need to get through Red Guardian's taunt, and it won't cause him to go faster. So I'm going to just switch over here and take Red Guardian's taunt. I didn't get it. Obviously, if Jubilee gets a turn before Bishop goes, you always blind him. And the other key thing here we're trying to do is we're trying to get slow on Surfer. So that's why I did the assist there, because Iceman was assisting. So this will miss due to the blind. And here we're going to finish off Bishop. Surfer's no longer a threat because he's blinded and he's got defense down. This is going to be a very quick win at this point. And then just auto basic. All cooldowns will be up and this node will be through. So very controlled way of getting through this node with all your cooldowns without really no one took a turn. I mean, even Surfer didn't get a turn, so I think Bishop was the only one that took a turn. So there's no reason you can't do this every time. The only time it becomes a problem is if you get high resistance to everything from Surfer. So I hope this helps, and I'll follow up with Node 2.